Evening, everybody. Welcome to
Excuse me,
Show.
no.
Evening.
Hello, Jens. Hello, Red. Hello, Kane.
Good evening. Good
Yeah.
evening, all.
Hello, watching millions around the world.
Yeah. Crammed around their PC monitors.
Yeah. Putting their
They're-
tea
they're-
down,
they're out
pushing
there.
aside their egg and chips just to watch us talk crap about Tottenham.
Absolutely.
So it
Speak
leaves
for
me.
yourself.
Yeah, just for myself. Spurs on this day in history, as we always like to begin the show. It's a good one. I just said to the boys backstage, I forgot all about this, but the opening sentence starts: "A mildly farcical situation arose." That could be a multitude of things with Tottenham, couldn't it, over the years? But this one in particular, until I got my book out about 5 minutes ago, I forgot all about it. So, you ready, boys? A mildly farcical situation arose when Spurs are refused a safety certificate for their opening game of the season at White Hart Lane against Coventry City. The ground was being redeveloped since 1988. The ground was being redeveloped in the summer, and the work had continued throughout the post-season. However, the club believed that even with the work incomplete, they could still be past fit to host the opening match of the season. However, the safety inspector's concerns could not be satisfying, and embarrassingly, the match had to be postponed. I remember that as well. We were supposed to face Coventry, and it got
Coventry,
called off.
wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
Coventry,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Coventry, and the game got called off because they didn't give us a safety certificate.
I was
Gee.
in
What year-
Hamburg that day. Yeah.
What
in
year?
Germany on a football tour.
1988. 1988.
Ooh, year before Hillsborough.
I can't believe I forgot all about that as well. Yeah, so that probably pertinently they did cancel it.
Yeah.
Brian says, "Good evening, everyone." Johnny Einstein, how the hell are you? Long time no speak. It is indeed, Brian. It is indeed. And he then follows it up with, "I remember that because we had our first game against Newcastle." Was that? Nah, it wouldn't have been the Atuba game, would it, Brian? Because that was much later on than '88.
Yeah, Tuba was in the 2000s.
Yeah. We always that's it. The first home game was against the Filth, says Brian, and Gaza scored without his boot. That's right, yeah.
Nice.
And he kicked the hoarding, did he, afterwards with his gloveless, his bootless foot. Yeah. Only
I remember that when I was at that one. Yeah.
Yeah, only Tottenham could fuck up the opening game of the season.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, Tottenham.
They did a good job in 2011, but that wasn't really their fault.
No, the riots. We just don't like playing catch up, don't we? Maybe that's why Daniel Levy fucks off the first month of the season every year with his panic buying at the end of the transfer window. So we start with -12. We don't do beginnings of the season, do we? We don't do beginnings of the season.
We'd have won the league every season if it hadn't been for that first month.
We're handicapped. We're handicapped, literally. We're handicapped.
Yeah.
So starting point this week has to be last weekend's game. Let's just bring it up there at the bottom there. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1, Delhi. Match talking points and the review. So first talking point, Kane was back, wasn't he? Kane was back on the bench. And I've put it down here, the crowd reception when he came on. I think before the game, he got a bit of stick, didn't he, from the Wolves fans? Alistair Gold said that he was at the game, and it was the Wolves fans booing him off the pitch. But typical social media was sort of blaming the Tottenham fans, where everyone's saying Tottenham fans were booing Kane, but Ali Gold said it was firmly 100% Wolves fans for some reason. These weird England fans, I just don't like Harry Kane for some reason, do they? So it was them booing him off. We've just had an update on the screen here from Babylon's. Sissoko signs for Watford, 5 million.
Oh, 10 million.
Is it official yet? The fee's not the important part yet. It's the fact that he's gone. But
the fact is that the fee kept going down. First it was 10, then 9, then 7, then 5, then 3. It's like, A, which one is it? And B, I don't care if he goes for free. Just
that's just Levy dropping the price to make sure he goes through. Tommy Arty, I believe you're on about there, Babylon. Yeah. Oh, Brian says it's official. It's official. Yep, official from Brian, official from Babylon. It's only it's official when Brian.
Yeah, he can't play against us on Sunday, by the way.
Can he not?
He's not registered, but we
probably wanted him to, though, Kev, didn't we?
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see Danny Rose come back. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Babylon says that Daniel Levy's grown his hair back. I think that's because Brian shaved his, isn't it? Brian's starting to look like Daniel again, so Levy's trying to grow his hair back to differentiate himself.
What hair? He's just got the little ring.
Brian,
He's like me, you know.
Babylon follows it up with he can't play Pyrrhus. Touche.
Leave him alone.
Yeah. He was affected by the confidence vampire, wasn't he? Mourinho. He did it right for 18 months. Did well for us. Always gave 100%, didn't he? So
always.
Can't fault the guy for that.
You know what? I'm gonna miss him. Not his playing, but as a character in the dressing room. I always had a soft spot for him. You know.
He seemed like a good guy, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was a big character on the Amazon. On the Amazon documentary, he said that he was a big personality in the dressing room, didn't it? And Babylon doesn't share our thoughts, but we'll talk about him later.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm thankful he's gone. Yeah. I'm thankful he's gone because we need an upgrade. But person wise, you know, it's a loss.
Yeah. Second talking point for the game, then, boys. Another clean sheet for Dyer and Sanchez. Although the clean sheet should probably go to Hugo there. He was the first Tottenham player to make 300 Premier League appearances in his 10th season mark with a clean sheet. Ably helped by Dyer and Sanchez again, who looked solid, didn't they? The whole team looked solid. Do you want to start on that point? Now we'll start with Rez. How did the game go for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that Dyer and Sanchez did contribute to the clean sheet. They weren't awful at the back, but there was still a little bit of that uncertainty. Both of them made pretty significant errors at some point, which could have given Wolves an advantage, especially Dyer's sort of travel to the halfway line and then essentially giving possession back to Wolves. Look, this is still a work in progress. You know, Nuno's still got work to do. Ultimately, who wouldn't want their centre-backs to be really great? If he can get them playing well, I'm not going to insist that, you know, Dyer goes or Sanchez goes. I just want a good centre-back pairing. And if Nuno can bring that about, fantastic. I don't care who it is. So still encouraging. Let's put it that way. You know, we've only conceded 1 goal in 4 games this season. So
does it leave us a problem though, with them keeping these clean sheets, that we're going to have to keep playing in the next game, and the impending error is bound to happen at some point, isn't it? In a big game, it's going to cost us.
I think that's going to happen anyway with any defensive pairing. If they're playing well and they're undroppable, then that's great. If it happens a couple of games in a row, then you have to think about we need to change it. But Romero looked rather good last night.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
I think he'll be battling for a place.
It's going to be taken out of their hands soon, isn't it, if Romero carries on playing like that.
But who do you replace? I'd go with Dyer. I think Romero and Sanchez. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think so.
Although
Sanchez,
although they did it right last night, didn't they? Romero and Dyer. It seemed like a good combo.
Yeah. Well, Romero's better.
Just wondering about Romero. Is he all right playing either side of the centre, or does he like one berth more than the other?
He looked quite comfortable on the ball last night, didn't he?
Yeah, he was playing right centre back.
Yeah,
and I've only ever seen him play right centre back for us. I don't know if he can play left centre back or not.
That was a hell of a debut, wasn't it? His first touch of the ball, pretty much, wasn't it? At the lane in a competitive game, and that 40-yard ball straight into Kane's feet. I was like, I didn't know he had that in the locker.
Yeah,
it was literally Toby.
Watching all the Weird videos.
Yeah, he has been, hasn't he? Like,
you see how attacking he is as well. I think it was it second half. Hill had a shot, and then the rebound came out, and the first player there was Romero.
Yeah.
It cut to Nuno, didn't it?
There was a chance last night when he actually took the ball and one of their players fell over, and he was actually clear, and he was going, you know, and
he got booked, Nick. He got booked. He didn't
got booked as well.
Ridiculous. We'll get onto that game later. So we're still on Wolves at the moment. Kev, what did you make of the game overall before we go into individual talking points?
Is this me? I missed that bit with a screech. They were all pace. Wolves were all pace, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were like, they came at you flying hard, and somehow we weathered all the storms they threw at us, you know. Skip started very slow, I thought, but then he got into the game after about 15, 20 minutes. He was okay. Reguilon was the same as against City. He was a bit iffy, you know, kind of iffy, but he grew into it as well, you know. So they all seemed to be learning and picking it up fast, but they had to, you know. And bottom line is, I thought we got away with it, really. You know, I'd have been happy with a draw. I really would. At the end of the day, I'm more than pleased with a win, you know. It wouldn't be, you know.
Yeah, I said about an hour into the game, I'd take a draw here. They've deserved at least a draw. Wolves probably deserved the 3 points, didn't they? The way they played, but we managed to hang on into the game there and see it out, which is a good sign. They all stuck together, didn't they? And it will bode well for the future, won't it? That they all dug in, even though we weren't playing better, we were getting dominated, and we dug in and got the win, let alone the draw. Also, Nick, what did you think of the game before I bring up the talking point that I've just put on the screen there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess again. You know, I think, we kind of got away with it, but I guess, you know, kind of two seasons ago or last season, those types of games we would have crumbled and it wouldn't have been a draw. We would have lost. You know, and again they're showing that desire to, you know, play for Nuno, play for each other. And you know, it's like Rez said, you know, it's work in progress, but the progress that they've kind of made in the first two games, you know, you couldn't want for anything else. You know, beating City, you know, not conceding a goal, you can't really ask for much more, really.
2 clean sheets as well.
Yeah,
2 clean sheets. So I'll put it up on the ticker here. It was a battling team performance, but we were a bit sloppy going forward, weren't we? So do you think, coming around the panel again, Rez, with the players still to come in, do you think that will resolve the sloppiness in possession?
It depends. I think the key individual about that will be Lo Celso, because he's probably going to be the one to make us tick or to create. If he can see, he showed elements of sharpness. Obviously, we're not talking about Thursday or yesterday yet, but he showed elements of sharpness on Thursday. If he can get that momentum going, because every time he starts to get closer, injury, you know, and it just knocks him back again. If he can get some consistency and he can start creating, I think then it would depend on how well he integrates and whether he can actually start finding his teammates. Hill was also very, very encouraging. Obviously, my question mark over him is his physicality. I'm hoping he can do it. He did stand up to the Portuguese side yesterday. Wasn't easy to get off the ball, so I think that's encouraging for the Premier League. Romero, you know, it was, I think one of us said it in the group chat yesterday, that pass at the beginning was Alderweireld-esque. You know, if he can do that consistently, that's another channel for us to think. I think it can come together. Sloppiness is often a sign of rustiness. It's still the beginning of the season, so I think we can judge them after maybe about 10 games to see whether or not it's starting to come together.
Babylon makes a good point there, doesn't he? Romero is from Argentina. They're big mates in the Argentinian squad, so you might help him integrate him into the team a bit more. I mean, I thought he had a good game last night. Nick, you were at the game. You didn't think we'll come on to that game later, but you didn't think he did that well last night. But no. I thought there were signs there that he was starting to get back to Lo Celso of 18 months ago that sort of carried us for a period of 6 months, didn't he? Really, with his play. Also, let's just bring this up again. So I thought Deli was good again against Wolves. When he's trying to work his way out of his bad form, isn't he? By just knuckling down and running his arse off, which is good to see. Jens, what did you think of Deli?
Yeah, I was impressed. He still has a little bit of a way to go back to what he used to be, and to be honest, I'm not 100% sure he will. I think that his the flicks and the tricks are maybe not quite as prevalent as they used to be. But I'm happy with his effort, because having seen him in a few games last season, he he looked like he didn't care. I think he was another one who didn't like Maureen or didn't like the way that we were playing, and it seemed that maybe, obviously this is all rumour, social media rumour, but he was more intent on his fashion label and his Instagram posts than he was playing for Tottenham. But I'm very impressed that he actually wants to work hard and get back in there, because I thought with his personality that perhaps he might be, I can't be bothered with this, I'm off.
Tongi-esque.
I wasn't going to say that. I didn't want to bring that up.
You can see a switch in his personality. Yeah, you're right. Delhi this season, you can see like it's almost like he's become a man, isn't it? He's stopped mucking around as much, and he's realised that he's got to knuckle down if he wants to save his career, and he's gone about it the right way, hasn't he? He spent all summer getting fitter and stronger, and he's just trying to work his way through his bad form, and his luck's changing, isn't it, through hard work, which is good to see.
You make your own luck.
The same age, yeah. Tanguy and Delhi.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah. So well, I don't know. Sissoko's gone now, so and possibly Aurier, so Tanguy's going to have no mates left.
We'll get on to that later. Kev, just touch on Delhi briefly, and then if you could, the second part there, look at Stevie as well.
You saw with Delhi, he knuckled down. I mean, he really knuckled down. Mind you, I was a bit worried when he was taking a penalty because I didn't know. I always worry when anyone but Harry Kane takes penalties. I don't know why. It's just me, you know. But he knuckled down, and as Jens said, I don't know if he's looking to get back into the England setup for the World Cup. I don't know. I don't really care because I'm not. That's a different story. But
easy.
Yeah. But no,
I've heard that he's applying for an Irish passport.
It's a bus for him this time round. You know, he's got to make or break. Because if he doesn't do it at Spurs, no one else is going to buy him anyway. So if he wants to keep earning his money and have the status, whatever you like to call it, that's what he's got to do. But I made him man of the match on Sunday, actually. That was my call.
Yeah.
I said he was man of the match.
I think he's taken great, I don't know if confidence is a word, from the fact that Levy backed him over Mourinho, didn't he, really? When Mourinho was trying to bomb him off and get rid of him to PSG, and he sort of said, no, he's staying. We see him as part of the club for the future, and he sort of maybe he feels like a debt to Levy to kind of repay him for all the confidence he's shown in him, so to speak.
I would so.
Yeah.
That's one thing you don't want to have, a debt to Levy.
No, as long as you've got a gentleman's agreement to get your way out of it, you're okay, aren't you?
Although it's a dangerous precedent for a chairman to interfere like that, I think. You know, part of the problems we've had has not been a war, necessarily an all-out war, but this idea that the players can go over the manager's head to the chairman. And I think that's caused us problems. It really should be a case of, you know, coaches there, obviously, let's say it's Paratici now, you know, they are the arbiter. Once you get to that point, they're the final answer. You can't really be in a situation.
You've got to be a realist. You've got to be a realist, though, Rez. That's the situation these days, isn't it? That's where Mourinho went wrong in his day. He could rule with an iron fist, couldn't he, as manager? But the players do have a lot more power now. They probably have all the power, don't they? So they can they've always. If you listen to Souness and the guys from the 70s, they said they always had the power anyway. They could get rid of a manager if they wanted, pretty much back then. So the players do have the power, don't they?
They do. I think it changed for a while. And I think that we never played that game though at Spurs. You know, Levy was certainly interventionist after the sort of Baldini, Arneson, whoever the other one, Kamoli sort of period was. During that time, he seemed to be quite hands off in terms of dealing with the actual players. And after Baldini, he started getting very, very involved, you know, all the transfers, you know, being there for the things. And we saw it in the Amazon documentary. There was an element of, you know, starstruckedness.
Yeah.
When you had lunch with the players. You know,
and Mourinho as well.
And Mourinho as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a chairman needs to have an element of distance automatically. You know, should really be a case of, if you're going to go and see the chairman, you see him with the permission of the manager type thing, you know.
Nick, let's come on to you then with the next point on Stevie. I thought he looked a bit sharper again. What did you think of Stevie against Wolves?
Yeah, I just think he needs that goal. He is looking sharper. He's looking fitter. But he just needs that goal for that, that extra bit of confidence. Just for him to kick on, really. But yeah, Delhi again. Just going back quickly. Delhi ran the most 11.06 kilometers or something on Sunday. So 2 games in a row, he's run the most. So. Which is pleasing. So yeah, I just think like with Stevie against Wolves, and he just needs that goal. And like you say, that rustiness is coming out from all of them. But yeah, that goal will I think will do us all a massive favour.
Maybe he's gained a bit of confidence from that little clip that's doing the rounds as well when he skinned that guy on the touchline. The seat.
That was beautiful.
Flip flop, wasn't it? A little flip flop on the feet. I wish and Kane a sharper Kane probably would have stuck that away, wouldn't he? I thought he was going to score there. It's good to see. I mean, he's always worked hard enough, hasn't he? But funnily enough, when he first joined us, finishing was one of his better attributes, I thought, wasn't it? So he just needs one to go in off his arse, as the saying goes, doesn't he? To turn his luck around, I think.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, let's finish where we started on that point then. So when Kane came off the bench, the reception he got, did it touch the cockles of your heart, Rez, when you saw that?
Can I be honest?
Go on.
No, but the political animal in me understood that it was precisely the right thing to do, and that there were probably better people than me at that match, because I don't think I would have sung his name. I'm glad he's staying, and there is room for forgiveness, but he's not at that point yet. So it was very generous by our lads at Molineux on Sunday to do that for him. And I think that it was just enough to sort of make him realise that it's not going to happen this summer, and so hence the statement afterwards, a couple of days after, and the sort of concession that he's not moving this week, this transfer window. So yeah, good on them, well done, and glad to see that he's going to be with us for another season.
Jens, what did you make of the reception Kane got when he came on?
I was surprised.
You were? I wasn't really. I know Bobby put out a tweet saying that I don't think Kane's realises the reception he's going to get in a sort of negative way, but I remember replying to him saying, "Nah, you won't get booed."
I thought it would be a little less supportive than that, but to be honest, I was pretty happy. I thought when all of this came out in the press about they don't want to bid 160 million or whatever, I thought, I don't think he's going to leave this transfer window. And if people had booed him, then you may have an unmotivated player. But now he sees how much all of the away fans loved him. And so, I mean, I think he's single-minded. He wants to achieve things. He wants to win things. He wants to get all of these records. So he's going to go out and score goals anyway. But it's better that he does it with a smile on his face rather than looking like a miserable slapped ass.
I think one of you guys summed up last week and said it's a siege mentality, isn't it? We can slag him off. We can boo him and stuff. But when other people start doing it, it's like, whoa. That's our job, No one boos Kane but us. If we want to boo him, we'll boo him. Then other people start getting on his back in the media and stuff. We kind of, that's that siege mentality again, isn't it? He's one of us still, so you lot can do one kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of that. Kev, what did you make of the Kane reception he got when he came off the bench at Wolves?
I was surprised. I really was. Yeah, and I was pleased to see it actually. I haven't forgiven him. I've slightly forgiven him, if you can call it that, for want of a better word. But I think he's come to terms with it, and I think if he would have got a bad reception, he'd have got entrenched with it all, and he would have been more determined to leave somehow by hook or by crook or whatever. But I think that softening of the atmosphere and Probably away from home is a better place to do it than at home in a volatile place. But, following on, I know we're going towards the next game, but, it worked quite well from Harry Kane's point of view.
Yeah, so as I put on screen, Nick, did the Wolves reception after the stick he was receiving from the fans and media that week, and the home atmosphere against City, do you think that swinged his decision to stay?
Well, I guess we'll never know. I mean, his statement said this summer, so there's still January. There's that we need to be wary of, whether there's a gentleman's agreement that he can go in January and everything's done because we didn't have enough time to find a replacement. Well, I guess we'll find out in a few months' time. But yeah, I think maybe, after seeing what had kind of happened with everything with his brother, the stick that he was getting, and just kind of maybe took a bit of stock. And you don't know how much influence his missus had, and she probably said, "Are we doing the right thing?" And you don't know what you don't kind of know what conversation goes on. But I would say that he's taking it on it rather than going, I've gone this far. I've done the Gary Neville bit. I've done, I'll talk about my future after Euros. I've said I wanted to leave, and then it was a bit like, maybe I've gone a bit far here.
Dovers came out with a good point about that comment about I'm staying for the summer. It could be just Kane putting a bit of leverage on Levy to stick to his word. The conversation they must have had, Harry, if you stay, we'll do X, Y, and Z. We're bringing in this person. We'll invest in this. It might be Kane being rather clever and saying, I'll reassess it in January. I'll reassess it next summer if you don't do what you said you're going to do, because they must have promised him the earth to get him to stay, to turn him around, because all the talk today is that the talks with Paratici and Levy and everyone went really well, and that Harry's really positive and looking to stay long term. That even Pep's comments today said that Harry seems determined to stay long term at Spurs, didn't he? Which was interesting.
Well, like 2 years ago as well, that Levy promised and stuff like that. So I think he knows he's full of
Guardiola. Guardiola can go do things to himself, right?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, all right. As far every time I see that bald, beardy twat, right, I want to punch my screen. Okay, This is all linked with my hatred of Man City anyway, right? He's a checkbook manager, has never done it with a thing, and all these people have, cream all over him, and it's annoying. Put that aside. This is the issue for me with Kane, right? He has the opportunity to be a legend. He has the opportunity to be the greatest goal scorer for a specific club. Every club only has one of those, okay? He can go to Man City and spend 5 years there and win 10 trophies. Putting aside what Man City are, he's still doing it alongside 20 other people. There is nobody else who will be standing alongside him on that pedestal if he scores another 44 goals for us. No one. Jimmy Greaves last scored for Spurs more than 50 years ago, and he's still spoken with reverence and with awe by us. 50 years. Kane can be that, for a club. He can be a Gerrard. He can be a Terry, if you like. Right? If he goes to Man City, he's going to be a legend. Yeah, I know. If he goes to Man City, he's not going to be a legend. Aguero's already got that for them. He's never going to overtake him, right? So
what are you talking about? Sean Goat has already got that for him.
Oh, well, exactly. Bellend. Colin Bell. But which is more important, Harry, is what I would say to him. Going and winning trophies that are easy to win. It's not an achievement to win a trophy with City, or staying and becoming an icon.
Jamie Carragher put out a good column, didn't he? Yeah, he summed up what we were saying last week, that look, there's some of those players that won the Champions League with Liverpool when they come back, against AC Milan. They're not going to be remembered, are they? Like Jimmy Traore, his name is, a left back. He's one that Biscan and people like that, they've won the Champions League, but they're not remembered as legends of the game. It's not all about winning trophies, is it?
No,
it's not.
It really isn't.
Actually, isn't. A legacy at a club like Tottenham is bigger than winning a League Cup with Man City, isn't it, or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we move on, we've got a couple of comments from the guys watching. Thank you. Panel, how do you feel about Sissoko going?
Is that Rosie? Is that Rosie?
It doesn't say on there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was speaking to him earlier. He's a Watford fan, and he was asking me about
said,
Sissoko.
who would you bring in to replace him? So, Chris, what do we make about Sissoko going? Let's go around. Let's start with you, Kev. What do you make of Sissoko going?
It had to happen. I think it's just a end of life with us. He knows, they know. It's time to be refreshed. He was a servant to the club. It just wasn't what we needed in the last couple of years. I think his pinnacle of his career was the Champions League final, and it just went downhill from there. Really, whatever he did after that. Well, his pinnacle of his career was, setting up the goals in the semi and the games getting us to the final. That was one of his greatest seasons for us.
He'll always be part of Spurs history because of that, wasn't he? Because he clipped up the ball to Lorenzo.
He started the move.
Yeah. I remember at the time saying, "What the fuck are you doing? Just clipping it up into the air from there," and then flicked on.
But do you remember after we scored that goal and the referee was adding on ridiculous amounts of extra time, and he was he was in their half with the ball, and it was like, carry it to the corner, and he sort of did some weird step over and gave them possession, and luckily the ref just blew up just at that moment.
Yeah.
After Lamella tried to step over on the edge of our boxes, didn't he?
Yeah.
And who would you replace him? Who would you replace him with? Who would you replace him with, Kev? The young guy we've just signed. We'll get onto that later, of course.
Yeah, not this year.
Yeah, get onto it later. Let me have a little rummage about that because I didn't actually think of that one. Yeah, because that came late in the day.
Nick, what do you think of Sissoko going? Yeah, we've got him now. Yes,
I think we've already got him. I think Skip coming back from Norwich has replaced Sissoko.
I think we've got Skippy's come back. And has almost slotted in there. We got Harry Winks, obviously, but
Okay.
Oh, forgot about Winks. Yeah.
No, so I think
how could you forget about Winks?
I know. After last night,
2 for 2.
But I think like with everything, it's showing that we're not kind of the old Spurs that will just keep them just for the sake of it, and we need to move them on and we need to refresh and like you said in terms of documentary, big character in the dressing room, but it almost says right, who's either someone else is going to step up or they're all going to step up and not look up to this one person and almost be have that have those people around him that are kind of hanging on to their coattails or hanging on to something else in the showers to just make sure they're still in the team. So
Rez, your memories of Sissoko, how will you look back on him in years to come? What will your memories be of him as a player and your individual memories during games?
As I say, he's got I've got some I've got a lot of affection for him. I'm thankful that we've managed to transfer him out because we need to upgrade. So Schadenfreude, sort of happy on one hand and sad to see him go on another because he always came across a really good chap, always gave his all. There was never a time where I felt that he was hiding or sort of, not doing his best. Memories of him, I think he scored a goal last season, but you'd think I'd remember it a lot better, but I'm sure he scored last season or the season before or something, and it was like, I remember my reaction to that was sort of like, yay, finally he's got himself a goal. But it's difficult to get over what happened in the Champions League final, but I feel a lot of sympathy for him because that was such a bullshit decision. First of all, completely against the spirit of the game to do that deliberately to another professional by Mane, and also for the referees to have actually given it at all was just a travesty. Thank you, Musa. Thank you for everything you've given us, and I hope you do well in Watford and anything else that he does in the future. And now we move on.
A couple of seasons ago, he was Player of the Year, wasn't he? You can see in the stadium when it was getting announced, the vote just got hijacked by the South Koreans, didn't it? You could see when the guy went to announce the Player of the Year, Sissoko was almost getting up out of his chair, wasn't he? And then suddenly he was like, "Sit down, son." all my fans have voted for me. You haven't won it. I was expecting them to say it. Like, me and Gaz were looking at each other saying, Sonny? I thought it was Sissoko was player of the year.
Yeah.
He won the Legends Player of the Year that year, didn't he?
That's right, yeah.
Perryman and Roberts presented him with an award.
Yeah. 18-19 season, was it?
Yeah. Hello, Cody. You all right? Some top tweets again today, my friend. Some top tweets. You do make me chuckle. So that leads us on to the next game. We've just touched on it there. So as the Ferrero Rochet game, as everyone's affectionately calling it. So after Hugo became a record breaker in the week with his 300th Premier League appearance, Harry Kane equaled Steve Perryman's. Well, I could have done a Steve Perryman segue there instead, couldn't I? Going the long way around the houses there. I just mentioned Steve Perryman. Yeah, he equaled Steve Perryman's European records of 64. Hugo's on 63, but it's quite an achievement, isn't it? I guess you have to, first of all, you have to qualify every year to get into Europe, don't you? And then for Harry for it to be his comeback game as well to equal that record. I think Steve Perryman put out a tweet earlier, didn't he? Said when he was encouraging him to stay early this week, he didn't realise he was going to be taking a record. He should have been encouraging him to leave. Yeah. Hugo hunting him down. So yeah, I was pleased to see him back and captain last night. I thought they'd give him the minutes he needs to work up his game time, doesn't he? Obviously, Nick, you were at the game last night. What was the reception like for Harry before the game when he's warming up and stuff?
Yeah, so I think it was that the marketing team did very well in the fact that they had him in front of the south stand, and very visible. They were making sure that he was, that it was going to looking at the crowd. The crowd were, considering that it was probably, I would say, probably not really your normal fans that would go there. The fans that obviously the tickets went on general sale. They weren't that expensive. Kids were still off. It wasn't probably your diehard Spurs fans, the season ticket holders, and everything else that would have been there normally. But his reception was, the reception was good. They normally go down normally when they're announcing the players, they go in order of number order, and they left Kane till last. So they made a big thing about it. So, captain and, your number 10, Harry Kane. And, to be fair, the crowd did it. So that was a nice ploy. There was obviously normal singing. He's one of our own. And, but I think it would be, I guess it would be more interesting to see what it's like on Sunday. Now you've kind of had an away game, and then you've had the midweek game, but actually getting down to business, I think it'll be interesting to see. And I'm sure there's not, like you've all said, we've not forgiven him, but it couldn't have gone any better apart from, I thought after 18 seconds, that was probably the easiest chance of the three that he had. Yeah. And it was just, it was just kind of, everything was kind of written for him to perform and everything else. So yeah, I think in terms of the reception, there was, it was good.
About 10 minutes into the game, you could hear on TV everyone singing "He's one of our own," and he actually did a little clap, didn't he? To the fans. So that was nice. So he's the PR machine's on overdrive, isn't it? So he's a genuine person, isn't he? So I'm not going to be swayed by any negativity there. He's a genuine person. He does appreciate the support. I'm sure he's been getting a lot of knockers in the press, left, right, and centre. After his brothers, will say it's his brothers' decisions in the summer. Fucking nearly single-handedly ruined his legacy, hasn't he? Oh dear.
Jesus Christ.
And Gary Neville's giving it a good go as well.
Yeah.
He's. We've got to move on to probably the most pleasing thing last night. I thought it was absolutely awesome, Brian Gill. I've seen all these clips and spoken to my brother-in-law. He watched a lot of Spanish football about Hill and his skills, but I didn't realise how fast he was. He was flying down that wing there, wasn't he? Like a few times they put him in behind, and he's quick, skillful, and he's got a creative brain. It's boding well here, isn't it? Jens, what did you make of Brian Gill last night?
Oh, I thought he was brilliant. He reminds me a little bit of Jose Dominguez, but he can actually pass.
Yeah.
and he looks so sharp, and he's a proper winger as well. I had him down to score in the second half, so I was wanting him to get in the middle, but he was always out on that left hand side, and I'm really excited about this kid.
It was like Nuno had a new toy though, wasn't it? He's like, right, he's brilliant at number 10. Let's see what he's like on the left wing as well. So he sort of moved the team around. Then you to have a look at him on the left wing as well.
Yeah,
his movement, it's the way he flowed across the pitch. I saw someone on Twitter, it might have been Cody or one of the other guys, saying it reminded him a bit of Ginola, the way he sort of glided across the pitch. He had that drop of the shoulder, and he could go either way, couldn't he, on either foot, even though he's strongly left-footed. But
it's a shame he doesn't. It's a shame he doesn't have Ginola's stature.
He's got the hair, hasn't he? The hair's halfway there.
But that's
the rest of the grooming products. I mean, you look at David now. He's like this silver fox. You know, he can grow this sort of wonderful, beautiful goatee that just makes him look like this Adonis. You know, and Brian Hill's got this sort of weird tash thing. It's like,
pretty sure he's painted on.
Yeah, bleach it, pluck it, shave it. Just get rid of it. Anyway.
Yeah, baby Ginola from Cody. That's a good moniker there. Yeah, so I bet the L'Oreal marketing department were like, "Who's this guy? He's got long hair, little wispy tash there." Absolutely, yeah. Alan makes a good point there. I hope he gets a chance. Well, I thought it was telling that he came off after 70 minutes last night, and he left Stevie on, didn't he? And he left Lucas Moura on. So I thought it was telling that he took Hill off. So maybe he's going to give him a little chance. Against Watford.
So.
Yeah. I think
he's a natural. I think he's just got a natural ability. He's like Kane. He reads a game before anyone else does. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's aware of everything around him. He knows where to put a ball. He's got it all there. It's just a matter of controlling it now and moving on with it. And
end product as well, Kev. Wasn't he? The first one he set up Kane, didn't he? The first goal, and then the two shots he got away, deflected onto the post, and then deflected over. He shaped those chances well, didn't he? He's got a very quick brain, like Cody says, which is what I always look for in a footballer, to see his football brain. And when you add the pace to that, it was like a mini Ginola and a mini David Silva, wasn't it? But he's probably quicker than David Silva, and it was really nice to see Kane linking up with him, because you could see Kane kept looking to give the ball to him. There were times last season where we'd sort of look up onto one side of the pitch, and they wouldn't fancy going to Aurier and Stevie, would they? And they just come down the left to Sonny every time, because they obviously didn't fancy them as players. Other players can tell a player, can't they? And he just kept he kept looking for Gill, didn't he, to give him the ball after a while, because he enjoyed. You could see he genuinely enjoyed playing with him. And some of those little quick one touch like triangles they played in and around in tight areas, it's good to see as well, wasn't it? Absolutely. And that's obviously the Nuno influence. We wouldn't have done that last season under Maureen, would we? I don't think. But yeah, it's really exciting to see. I haven't seen an exciting player like that for a while now, which is what we've been crying out for, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, he was excellent last night, and I think he created a lot of space for the others to kind of move into, but also, like Kev said, he reads the game very well, and just the vision and those runs, the runs that he was making, I hope that like we say, hopefully he starts on Sunday, but it might upset someone else that was having a strop last night. So yeah,
we'll get onto that in a minute. Can you imagine though, on the counter attack, if we get a corner against Wolves, Watford on Sunday, and it's going down that left hand side with Reggie on and Brian Gill? Jesus, that's some pace, isn't it? On the left hand side, though, I would like to know a foot race out of those two.
They're playing Sissoko on the right.
Switch Danny Rose over to the right.
I can't see Danny Rose playing. He hasn't been playing yet. He played the Carling Cup or whatever, Caribou Cup, whatever they call it, but he hasn't played in the Prem yet, so I don't think he'll play. So we might be able to give him
in for his experience more than anything else.
Yeah. He might. We'll be able to give him a good reception when he's warming up and whatnot down that end. Okay, let's just bring up the next talking point here. But yeah, it was good to see Brian Hill there, and he didn't try him on the right, did he? Interestingly. Didn't try him on the right.
He's very left-footed.
Special guest here. Yeah, he is very left-footed.
So unless he wants to play inverted wingers or he wants to sort of play inside forward.
I missed that. Nick said something about someone having a stroke last night. I missed that.
Oh yes, let's bring that up. I'm just
What's
trying
going
to.
on? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Kev.
No, it's just died.
What's died?
Kev's
died, has he?
Game. No, Kev hasn't died. I'm hoping not. His stream has certainly died. Fucking hell. God.
I'm just trying to add in these guys. Here we go. There you go, guys. It wouldn't let me scroll down. I couldn't work out to scroll down. There is a scroll bar on the right there. Modern technology and me. The two Brians. How you going, guys?
We're squeezing in here, guys. We're squeezing in.
We're trying the new green screen, so I'm trying to squeeze in.
Yeah, look at that in the background there.
I'm disappointed. I was hoping that was your actual wallpaper.
That'd be a little over the top if it were, but you never know, right? You never know.
It's the tot tits or the tit tots. The tot.
That's
Tottenham,
it. That's
Tottenham
it.
and tour
the
there.
tots. The tots are here. How you guys doing?
Yeah, good, man. We've just had I'm just going to find a question from Bobby, and I'll throw that open to you guys first. How different do you think it would have been if Kane had been booed heavily at Wolves? So the Bryans, will go with you guys first.
We would discuss that, didn't we?
Oh, I think it would have been a lot different. I think he would have felt pretty awful. Understandably, I'm glad it didn't happen. I think that would have been pretty rough. Especially the traveling fans are typically the biggest fans and the best fans. So it would have been telling about what the fan base thinks if the traveling fans felt that way about him. So I'm glad it didn't happen and that they were positive.
Sliding doors moment, wasn't it? He did mention it in his statement, didn't he, Kane? And you could see that. I mean, he's a human being at the end of the day. That would have filled him with confidence, wouldn't it? After everything that's happened, he would have been a bit unsure stepping onto that pitch, wouldn't he?
Difficult for sure.
But I think it was almost like the Wolves fans are like, you guys don't get to boo him. He's one of our players. If we want to give him some stick or boo him, we can, but you lot can't. So we can't. It was siege mentality. We grouped together and said, right, we're going to show you some support here. It's good to see, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
So before we move around the panel, I'll let you guys continue on this one then. So first up, we'll go around clockwise to Romero's performance. I know Stelios wasn't that impressed with him, was he, on some of our group chats today? But I thought he had a great game last night. There was some good glimpses of what the player that we bought there. His pace, power, aggression, passing. I thought he looked good. Who's going first? We'll start with you, Rez. What did you make of Romero's?
I was really impressed.
Yeah. I
was very impressed. He's quick. He's strong. He knows how to tackle. He gets up the pitch. He's got. If I'm hoping that that's a pass that exists in his locker and it just wasn't a one-off, because that pass right at the beginning, my God, that was just gorgeous. I just sat there going, when he did that, I thought it was Toby again. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm the only concern I have is whether or not he's rash. He was in double digits for yellow cards last season, but he's still young. There's time to work that out of his game anyway. Great. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Jens, what did you make of Romero? I was impressed with you.
Yeah, I was impressed. I'm not 100% sure that he needs to work it out of his game. When you say he's being rash, but that physicality, that needs to stay, I think. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Certainly an argument for that, Jens. You're right. You're not wrong.
It'll be interesting to see who he gets paired with, and how that goes. I'm in two minds. I mean, both of them have been decent this season, but it's only 2 games in, or 3. Sorry, 4 games in.
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Maybe Rodon.
I think he's going on loan. I think he'll be out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you reckon it was all this business of him mouthing off in training that he's been sort of left out? There was talk of it, wasn't it? He said he kicked off Rodon last year because Dyer and Sanchez were starting ahead of him, and he kicked off in training and said that he's better than them and they're shit and he can't get a chance and stuff. So obviously that didn't go down too well. But Nuno seems to have a bit of a needle with him, doesn't he? I don't know if anything happened.
I thought he's injured.
Well,
that's my understanding.
They said he's injured, but he's in the Wales squad, isn't he? He's been named in the Wales squad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. which is weird. Well,
I think he's coming back from injury. Well, that's the thing. I didn't see anything that suggested. I did see that thing that you said about him kicking off last season. And to be fair, he had a point. He had a point, didn't he?
Big time.
It's like, so I'm here. I'm not playing. Those two are on the pitch constantly making mistakes. Don't you think maybe I should be given my chance? Absolutely. You bought me for a reason, So I want to see Joe. I want to see Joe play. I do, to see if he can develop. But right now, I thought he was just injured, and that's why he's not being picked.
I think my biggest concern is Romero doesn't speak English. Like, his English is really poor, and if he's going to be next to somebody who doesn't speak Spanish, that could be problematic as well. So you might want to consider that.
But Joe doesn't speak English either.
That's true. Good shout.
You know what it was? With last season, I don't know what it was. We seemed to have a defensive partnership where we played them for 4 games, and then for no reason whatsoever, one was taken out, and then it happened again. And at the point of Mourinho sacking, Joe Rodon was by far our best central defender, and then Mason just picked his friends. Listen, Romero, I don't really want to see start to after the international break. He needs time to settle in, and in all honesty, I'm a firm believer that don't break a winning team. And if you said, all right, Sanchez and Dyer is not the centre-back pairing, we would have thought, oh my God, this is a rock at the back. But they've done nothing wrong. All right, Dyer had that little slip at Wolves where he thought it was messy in the midfield. But do you know what? Apart from, and everyone jumped on that because it was Eric Dyer. If that had been Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, we would have said, you know what, he's due a mistake. He's allowed one. You don't break a winning team up, in my opinion. The centre-back pairing and goalkeeper is the most important. We've kept 2 clean sheets when they've been in. And for me, and I said it on an earlier stream today, and I'm only going on this season right now, for me, Sanchez is the most informed centre-back in the league. He has been outstanding and is undroppable for me at the moment. I'd love to see Rodon play some more. I'd love to see him play some more, but I really think he's going out on loan. I really think he's going out on loan.
He's got to be 4th in the pecking order now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Looks like it.
Speaking of Messi in midfield, the next talking point, who wants to take this one?
Absolutely not.
Go on, Nick.
I think I should take it only because yesterday I was slating him roundly, and then he started the move that got Kane his first goal.
So it was a wonderful tackle, really good tackle.
It's probably the only game that I've seen Harry Winks not play 1 ball forward, but he played 2 balls forward.
Yeah, that's him done for the season, Stelios. Then forget it. That's it.
Won't happen again. Won't happen again. Yeah.
Jens,
and then he went back to sideways. And sideways.
I offered. I said on the text last night. I said, "Who wants to hold a sweepstake as to how many forward passes Winks takes?" I know I'm taking an unfair advantage, but
I'm like a drinking game now or something. We can play?
I'm going with 0, and then he proved me so wrong. But yeah, that's it. Two forward passes, and that's his quota for the season.
And I think the other thing that happened last night is Højbjerg came on and basically went, "Shut up, mate. I'm here. I've got this."
It took over,
and was literally Winksy after that was a bit like, "Oh yeah, okay." It's like the big brothers come in and just gone, "Thanks for what you've done for 70 odd minutes. I'm here now to look after everything."
Yeah. Like Cody says, he loved himself afterwards. He thought it was Billy Big Bollocks when he on the doing the interviews and stuff. His arms.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going anywhere though, does it?
No one wants him. It's not for the one.
Yeah, I know. Like that's the problem, right? We even got rid of Sissoko. It looks like
that's done.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. So to keep Winks and get rid of Sissoko is it says something about Winksy at this point, unfortunately.
You know what it is. When it's a homegrown player, you just wish it will get better, and you give him that little bit of extra leeway, thinking, do you know what? He's homegrown. He's one of our own. Just give him. But that time as well and truly, as I call him, I call him sat nav. He goes forward 10 yards and he reaches his destination. He passes it sideways. So
sat nav.
So he's called sat nav. And I just think the time has run its course now. It really has.
Speaking of people which split opinion in the fan base, the next guy on our chat last night, Nick, you were saying you didn't think Lo Celso had a good game, but me and my brother were saying we thought he did all right last night. He looked a bit better than he has been. That first leg, he was hopeless, wasn't he? So he didn't exactly have much to beat, but I thought he looked a bit better, back to his better self last night. Anyone want to talk about Lo Celso? Kev, you haven't spoken for a while. What did you make of Lo Celso last night?
I've had a few problems with the internet. I don't know if it's the internet or my setup. I don't know, but that's
you blaming Lo Celso for that. That's a bit harsh.
Giving your internet away too often.
He kept falling over a lot. I noticed that a lot. I don't know if the pitch was overwatered before the game. I don't know. He was hitting the deck quite a lot. But no, he applied himself a lot better. He was coming out of it a lot more than he has been. A bit more interested. A few stray passes, but it's all a work in progress to me.
Yeah, it's good to see him improve. I think that's the main thing. You know, his last game, he was really poor. In this game, he was better. Still some of the giveaways, some of the sloppy dribbling and some of the poor passing. But he also showed a lot of work rate and caused the second goal just from being in the way of the keeper and the defender. So some credit for that. He looks better than he did previously. And if that continues, then we'll have a player. But we'll see if that continues. That's
I loved our secret... when we were taking the free kick, the secret signal between Lo Celso and Kane that the commentator spotted from 70 yards away.
I didn't see that.
On our commentary, Brian, they said, there's just a little signal between Lo Celso and Kane there. And then the defenders all saw it as well and blocked him off. Hence he shot in the first place.
The thing I want to add about Lo Celso, obviously, is as well, seeing that Ndombele is clearly not in any kind of picture whatsoever, that place is kind of his own now. And we've got to remember his first season he was with us when Kane and Son was injured. If it hadn't been for him, we would have been in a hell of a lot more trouble than we were.
It's very good.
Then he picked up loads of injuries, as I called him Giola Anderton, because he was as sick as him. And he's come back from the Copa America. And also, as we're saying, he's got Romero with him now. So he's got someone there. And I just think this season he's got a more clear run of being a first teamer, because obviously Ndombele's not going to feature. He is up there. And with more impressing, I think there's actual competition for places to keep people on their toes. And I think this is going to get the best out of them. It's just obviously we have to monitor Lo Celso's fitness and wrap him in cotton wool for the first little while to make sure he can stay fit for us, not just Argentina.
Yeah.
And we do have a player there, without a doubt.
We need some numbers out of them, though. I mean, he one goal, I think, in the league, and or something really low like that. His assist rate is really low.
Yeah.
Just, the numbers have to increase for him to.
Well, the thing is, with Højbjerg and Skim there, it allows
certainly does.
It allows the
some
attacking
freedom,
players a bit more leeway to go forward. So I'm expecting big things from him this season.
Yeah,
he can pick up his game. We've got variety there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
have Mora with his pace and actually attacking players and actually running at them, or we can have the Celso staying slightly back and actually sort of dictating
a bit more, right?
Get deeper. Yeah, exactly. Or even put them together. And he can unleash Mora to give opposition defenders brown trousers.
Lucas Moura nearly scored a Maradona goal last night, didn't he, when he picked it up on that right-hand side and came back in and was like...
Gotta love Lucas.
I love Lucas.
Quick feet, and
he's wonderful.
Quick feet.
Having a better season for sure, Lucas. Looked a little bit not to is the level he's been at this season. Last night, I thought it was a little shaky, and he gave the ball away a couple times, running into defenders like he used to do last season quite a bit. So I'm hoping that doesn't become a habit again. But I love him. I think he's great.
Now, here's the thing that Nick, who was at the game last night, spotted that the TV cameras didn't spot, and the guys at home. Apparently, Delhi had a bit of a strop on the bench last night. Nick, what was all that about? What did you see?
Yeah, so basically, obviously they were looking to bring off Lo Celso just before he scored, or the defender flicked it over the keeper. However you want to look at it, but no. And Delhi was ready to come on when Stevie came on, and he was just sat there, and one of the coaches was just talking to him, and it looked like it was a very interesting conversation. Let's just say Delhi had obviously got the strop, thinking, well, I should be on, and he just basically it went on for probably 2-3 minutes, and then he basically said Kane had come off, and was sat next to him, and he basically said, get down that touchline or you're not going on. And eventually Delhi kind of sucked it up, went down the touchline, and came on about 5 minutes later. But yeah, it was really interesting. I don't know, I was just looking over, it was only purely because Kane had come off and you were just seeing the reaction. You just saw Kane was high-fiving everyone on the bench, and then Delhi's just sat there kind of having a strop, really. So
maybe he was cold. He thinks he's Jamaican now, that he's got those dreadlocks. So maybe his ability.
This is the issue I have with Denny. Like I've said all along, it's his attitude. He's played every minute pre-season. He's played every minute of the Premier League. So you're getting relaxed for Europe, and we haven't needed to bring you on. Be appreciative that you're getting the rest. It means you're going to figure on Sunday. You're held like we want to keep you fresh and show your effort and support for the team. This is like I'm very, very critical, Denny. I need to see like up until Christmas consistent performances from him for me to even start changing my mind on him. And just having temper tantrums like this and not be. You remember when Lloris went mad at some for being making a run for a team? Yeah. Well, sitting on the bench and just doing what the manager says, you're doing it for the team. You're going to play Sunday. Keep your air on, and you've got enough of it at the moment. And literally, just wait till you play 90 minutes on Sunday and do your talking on the pitch and support it off the pitch.
I'm going to counter that a little bit,
here we go.
because I, as a former player, I used to play growing up. I hated coming off. I hated being subbed off. I hated not playing. I like players who didn't want to play. It just shows that they're eager to get on the pitch and perform. I agree that maybe the way he's done it isn't great, but I do like the fact that he's just dying to get out there and get involved. Yeah. So I think, there's a benefit to that to some extent, I think.
And I think the other thing that didn't help is the crowd were singing his song, and then he was acknowledging it. And at the start, while he was warming up, so he probably thought he's gone back to that old stage where, oh, look at me, everyone loves me.
They love me again. Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I want to get on, I want to try. But when he came on, he didn't really do anything, if I'm honest.
It wasn't a ton of time either to do it. It didn't really matter.
He didn't have a lot of time to do it either. But the difference, Højbjerg came on straight away, and you knew he was there, and he had that presence.
Yeah, that's true.
There was nothing really. But to be fair to him, he didn't have that. He didn't have much time. He had 5-6 minutes, probably not even that. So
there are ways and ways of showing that you want to play, though. Being, and I'm not saying this is the case. We might have misread, because obviously, Nick, you didn't hear the conversation. We're just extrapolating here. Ultimately, we don't know what caused him to be angry. But the point is, a lot of there were little snippets here and there in various match reports. Oh, Dele might actually be the next future leader of Tottenham. It's like, all right, if he wants to be that, he needs to show the right approach, not necessarily the right attitude in terms of hating not being on the pitch.
Yeah,
that's great. Absolutely. Don't show it. You are one of 11 /17 /25. Yeah. If you want to be a leader, you got to show it. If you don't want to be a leader, you still need to show it, because what you do affects the other 24.
Yeah.
But they had a gentleman's agreement when he was going to come on. And we all know what a gentleman's agreement is at this club.
So moving on from last night's game, we're going on to the Tottenham talking points. I had 6 talking points there. We've covered a lot of them already, but we'll go through them. We'll just touch on them quickly. We'll start with you, Jens. So first point here: does the cameo from Brian Hill yesterday solve our number 10 issues? Do you think we'll get a creative midfielder in now, or do you think the cameo from Hill has sort of cemented his opportunities he's going to get in that role this season?
I'm not even sure that we have any issues at number 10, because I think we should play Mora there. Because when he played there last season, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. I'd like to see him more as a winger, Brian Hill. Obviously, he can slot into number 10, but I think he's proper exciting when he's bombing down the wing. And I think he's going to scare the living daylights of a lot of defenders. Maybe not quite as much as Adama Traore, but he's got a few years to put on that kind of muscle, hasn't he?
He's got a better result in the final third, even just after one game last night. Than Traore does, so.
That's true, but he doesn't look like a steam train. He's coming at you at like 100 miles an hour, like Traore does. But I think he's. I'm sure he'll play at number 10 occasionally.
Well, you've got Dele that can play there as well. You've got Brian Hill that can play there, Mora that can play there. Can
I just chime in quickly on this? Are we playing a system that has a 10? Like, it's a 4-3-3 for the most part, but since the beginning of the season, it's not. There's not really a 10 in a 4-3-3, is there? It's more of a. You've got your main striker up the middle that you're going to use as a target. You've got a couple players playing around them. They may have some sort of 10 attributes, but it's not really a 4-2-3-1 with a player in behind that 9. So I don't know. I don't really see it as a 10 being necessary. You just need sort of fluidity in that 3, right?
you would look for your advanced central midfielders to be the ones to sort of
to be creative, yeah, but it's not a traditional
stuff.
10, is it?
So not specifically a 10. Like I don't know what the numbers would be in a 4-3-3, but one of them's the 8.
Yeah, that's maybe what I'm trying to figure out myself.
Yeah, I think it's the 8 and the 6. That's where we need creativity, not necessarily at 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cody says, would you consider moving Sonny to the right to make room for Gill on the left? I mean, if there comes an argument that you've got to try and fit them both in at some point, don't you? Or you could put Gill on the right.
Sonny's pretty good at cutting in from that right hand side. I mean, the goal against City was on that from that side. So I think he can play either side with it. He's left-footed and right-footed.
Get a cut in as well. So.
Yeah, he can do both. So
the weird thing is, Sonny isn't that type of run at player. He's a run around player.
Run around or run past. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, like the Burnley goal that won him the Pushkash award is the sort of epitome of how he plays. It's like, I'm just going to go around you. Whereas Hill, I keep calling him Gill, Hill and Mora, they run at players and frighten them out of the way. Whereas Son just paces past them, even though he's not as fast as them. I would be reluctant to move Son to the right because he's so amazing in that position on the left that you're losing something just to accommodate Hill. Vary it up. You know, if you want, maybe put Son in the middle. If you want to bring Hill onto the left and get Hill along that flank and providing from that sort of wide left position.
No, we should put Sonny at wing back again.
I was at that FA Cup semi-final, and oh my good God,
he was a wing back, not a fullback.
I was there when I saw that. But the thing that
penalty, didn't he, Brian, as well?
Yeah, mate. But the thing that's exciting me about Brian Hill is, I was saying it earlier today, is throughout our ages of supporting Spurs, we've always had that maverick player, whether it be a Ginola, a Bale, a Van der Vaart, and so a Gascoigne, that when you get the ball, it's just like, oh my God, you're on the edge of the seat. What's he going to do? And I think he is going to be that player. You can just see when he gets the ball, even in these two games, yes, it's against a Portuguese pub team, whatever. There was just genuine excitement when he got on the ball, like what the hell is going to happen? And I think he is going to be like Newcastle have with St. Maximum. Every time he gets the ball, they're like, oh, okay, something's about to happen. And I just think, obviously, it's too early to say, but he's just got that look about him that when you get the ball, he's direct, he's forward, he's not thinking about backwards, he wants to be aggressive. And I think just from these two games, we've got a maverick on our hands. There's a lot to improve, but from not knowing anything about him 3 weeks ago to seeing 2 cameos, I'm impressed.
Yeah, even last night you could feel the hubbub in the stadium, couldn't you? Every time he got the ball,
yeah.
Even at home.
Here we go. It's like Fabrizio Morano on the mic.
I wanted him to have the ball, Brian. I was like, yeah, just give him the ball because I wanted to see him.
Exactly.
Next. Yeah, very
fantastic,
very positive. Yeah, so we've got a good player on our hands here. So the general consensus, we think we've got enough creative wise with Delhi.
I'd like to see one more player come in that position, in that sort of that 3. If we're playing a 4-3-3, that 3 that's in behind the 3, just to compete with Lo Celso. I mean, we have it with a Ndombele, but we don't know what's going on with that. So,
do you guys in your forums? Is there any ITK on Ndombele this week? Because I could sense for the first time this week, Nuno in his face there was literal anger when they mentioned him, wasn't there? So he's done
pretty
something
upset,
to piss him off, hasn't he? He's done something to piss him off.
Well, there's talk of signing his mate from Lyon.
Apparently he's got an attitude as well.
Yeah, he's almost worse than him, right? Like, that's what I've heard, which is hard to get hard to understand. But
the last thing we need to do is get rid of a Frenchman with an attitude, just to bring in another Frenchman with an attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. Something's happened. Rez and Kev, have you heard anything on your forums as to what's happened between Nuno and Ndombele?
I think it's finished. I think it's dead in the water. I don't think it's going any further. It's just down tools, basically, as far as I can see. I don't think it's irreparable.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's so quickly to say he's not in the squad, and he normally manages to say, I don't want to talk about individual players. And Ndombele, no, he's not in the squad. No, he's not in the squad.
There was some weird rumour that when he played last season, when he played badly at Southampton and then was dropped for the League Cup final, that's when it broke down for him, apparently. And my thinking to that is, your beef was with Ryan Mason. Yeah. for doing that. If there's any justification, which I don't think there was. He was dog shit against Southampton. So you can understand him being dropped. You don't necessarily agree with it, but you can understand the manager doing that.
But replace it for Winks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Winks, despite how crap he is, at least might play at 90 minutes. I mean, you get 60 out of him in the belly. It's an automatic substitution after 60 minutes. You lose that no matter what. That's
one advantage used before you've even kicked off.
Yeah, you can't make a decision there. That's an absurd situation for him to put a team in and then expect to get played no matter what because of his quality.
And the weird thing is that we sort of a lot of the jokes, a lot of the sort of criticism that Ndombele gets is that he's fat. He's actually not fat.
He looks really skinny recently.
He's smiling in training. All the videos, it's really weird.
The point is that because of everything we've seen from him over the last 20-something odd years, it's almost an automatic thing. And I've got a belly myself, but you think
COVID belly.
He's fat. He likes fast food. He probably doesn't, but there's just that. There's no application. And either it's because he doesn't like football, like Benny. Remember Benny?
Yeah.
But he always played. Exactly. He knew it was. You either love the game and so play it because you love it, okay, and you try hard because you love it, or you don't love the game but you try hard because it's your job and you're being paid for it. He's doing neither, and it's like, what are you doing, right? You can piss around for your 6-year contract with Spurs, but afterwards, what are you going to do? If you're not playing, and in 4 years or 3 years' time, when your contract is up and the club can say goodbye to you, right? What are you going to do then?
Still got 10 million in the bank.
Okay, you might have 10 million in the bank. They do spend their money, bear in mind,
and usually not very wisely. Let's be honest.
Exactly. He's talking about going to Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or Barcelona. It's like, why would they want you?
Yeah, he's deluded if he thinks that's going to happen.
Well, I think this comes down to bad management with his agents. Or if they're feeding him the lines to think he can actually get into these teams, and he's being told we'll try and get you into the. It's not. I mean, we signed him off the back of a great performance against Manchester City, and let's face it, he is way too good for the French league when he's on his game. Yeah. But we paid the money because a lot of people were after him, and we hadn't signed anyone for 18 months.
He was a perfect Ndombele.
Yeah,
potentially.
And now you look at it, who's going to want to sign a £60 million player that's had 4 managers that have all had a go at his attitude and his commitment? Yeah. He downs tools, can only play 60 minutes, and if his friends leave, he's going to kick off. Yeah. Please take him. They're going to go, oh, yes, we want him. He sounds like just the player we need. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen, and it's just trying to get him off the wage bill. We
won't even be able to sell him for half the price we bought him for at this rate.
Paratici will use him as one of his swap deals, wasn't he, Brian? He's using him as bait for one of the players he's after because he's actually
Tommy has to because he's back at the Olympics. Say, please come back.
That's back on, by the way, Brian. Back on, Tommy.
Allegedly, the club is still holding out for 60 million for Ndombele. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's what we paid for him. How do you get? Yeah. He played 70 minutes. Can't play. Played what about 12? Yeah. Starts 12 to 20 games a season. Yeah. Hasn't got the fitness, won't put in the extra work. Please sign him for 60 million. What kind of world do we live in?
No, it's absurd. No one's going to happen for that. No one's going to happen. 20 million, maybe someone might take a punt. A manager say, "Yeah, I reckon I can get something out of him." But 20 million.
He'll end up in the French league again in like 2 seasons playing for a mid-table team, probably.
I think even if he was to go to another Premiership team, the same thing would happen. I just don't think. I don't think the pace and I can't see him settling in England and settling into the Premier League way of play.
No.
Speaking of questionable characters, that leads us on to our second talking point. And we'll start with Rez on this one. Pep once again showing his lack of class. Other managers don't talk about other teams apart from him. He seems to write his own rules, doesn't he? And his little pop at Daniel Levy. Obviously, even Brian, you're not Levy's biggest fan, but what is Pep doing? That comment. Daniel Levy knows everything. Go on,
Pep Guardiola, for me, is the managerial epitome of everything that's wrong with football.
100%.
This guy has... And we sleepwalk behind this media-driven attitude of Pep, the amazing manager. the glorious coach. What has he actually done?
Pep Fraudiola, I think that's
Yeah.
the name.
He's taken a Barcelona team that was on the verge of exploding anyway.
Yep.
And won all those things with him and spent a huge amount of money. He went to Bayern Munich, who it takes a bad season for them not to win the Bundesliga, and got them a couple of trophies. He went to Man City and has spent £1 billion. Imagine, just think, £1 billion on all these players. And even after doing that, his squad is still unbalanced, especially after the events of today with Benjamin Mendy. They don't have a left back still. They don't have a centre forward still. They spent £100 million on Jack Grealish which he doesn't need. It's the club that are doing it, and he is hand in glove with them, right? I'm sorry, I'm ranting now. He made this big deal about Catalan independence. Do you remember all that furore?
Deserves a rant. He deserves a rant for sure.
Yeah, right? So he wears that and he says, oh, the Catalans deserve independence and they're being oppressed. He's like, yeah, what about all the gays and the women and the people of other races in the UAE that your employers are murdering and disappearing and discriminating against every day? Okay? When you can shut up about Catalan independence or start speaking out against that sort of stuff, then maybe I'll have some respect for you. Until then, you can fuck off. Sorry.
It's all right, Reg. Just
Giving me a run for my money. With
Yeah,
my
I don't know. We're gonna have to get you on our show to do the ranting. Brian here said he's got to step up if he's going to keep up with that. That was brilliant.
That's fantastic.
Reg, on top of that, and just backing your point up, that Man City have got more registered sex offenders than they've got Champions League finals.
Yeah, it's true. It's true with Adam Johnson. That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Man, I know that shouldn't be funny, but it's funny.
Did Pep Guardiola's comments on Daniel Levy even make you kind of feel sorry for him, Brian?
Never in a billion years. Never in a billion years can anyone say anything that would make me go, "Oh, poor Daniel."
The two deserve each other.
Listen, everyone knows my feelings about that man, and if they don't, I don't know where they've been living. Listen, Daniel Levy, he's the big I am because I put my phone on call divert when you call to hold all calls. Big. What do you do? Honestly, if I said it the other way, and I'm gonna go back on it today. I said if Man City get Ronaldo, wait for Man U to come in with a bid for Kane. And now I'm going back. There will be it's gone the other way, and I've said it. This is not over. There will be an 11th. I'm not saying he's going. There will be an 11th hour bid because Ronaldo signing for Manchester United is absolute. I mean, it's bigger than just this signing. What it does for the Premier League, finances, everything. This puts Man U right in the mix, like it or not. And Man City are going to want to, without a striker, they're going to have to make some kind of attempt to get him. And I can see it coming. But look, don't kid it. If the number's 150 and Man City bid 150 over the next few days, he's gone. He is gone. And then the man that said he won't sell to a Premier League team will sell to a Premier League team. Daniel Levy's just I'm not going to go into a huge rant. I'm going to save that for later.
I don't think he will, Brian, because
I don't think so either.
If the club's valued around the world at $2 billion and Harry Kane's the face of the club, he won't sell him for.
Well, you replace that with Son. Son will bring more money in globally.
Son's already there doing the same thing. Why would you?
Yeah, but globally. Listen, I'm not saying he's going, and I don't want him to go. But what I'm saying is this Harry Kane saga is far from over.
I think Brian, under normal circumstances, I think you'd be absolutely spot on the money that the possibility of him doing that certainly exists. I think it's this specific scenario he won't, because he will lose so much face that even Daniel Levy would hesitate. I'm just saying.
You heard it here first.
So just so you guys know, Brian and I have a $100 bet that Kane is staying with Spurs this week, and we did it the day before Kane made the announcement.
Yep.
So I think he's holding on a little bit still that that's going to happen. But reality is he's staying at Spurs this season.
I have 2 words for you and 2 words
only.
Give
me a nice hundo. Thanks,
I've got 2 words and 2 words only, and those words are Dimitar Berbatov.
Yeah, it's a different situation.
Listen, Man United didn't rub him up the wrong way. They did.
I think that the first person who will be happy that Brian's wrong is yourself, Brian. Right?
Oh, completely. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, no, he absolutely.
I hate Levy more than. Listen, I've said it before. I hate Levy more than I hate Sol Campbell. That's how bad my hatred is in him. Because Sol Campbell did what he did once. This parasite does it year after year and gets away with it. I want to be wrong. Unfortunately, I have an uncanny knack, as Johnny will know, with my Levy evidence and my Levy estimates always unfortunately turn out right. So I'm praying to God that there's nothing more I'd love to do to come on all streams and say, do you know what? I was wrong. I'm begging for the day to do it.
It'll be Tuesday on
$100 as well.
I'll be celebrating that $100 that he's gonna.
So.
You're going to be live seeing
I think Berbatov sale was great because we got Fraser Campbell on loan.
Exactly. Woohoo! Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do
I
it.
wonder where
We're bringing
Fraser
back.
Campbell is now. We'll have to do a feature on next week's show.
Too much to be done in 4 days for him to
The
go.
player you should do the quiz for Jens.
Yeah, Fraser Campbell with the quiz next week.
Yeah.
So next talking point kind of linked to Levy. We'll start with you, Jens, because we haven't heard from you for a while. Harry Kane's comment in his statement about I'm staying for this summer. Do you think it was like my brother said, it was geared at making Levy kind of stick to the promises that he'd given Kane in his meetings, persuading him to stay and trying to keep him sweet? Do you think that was a cunning little ploy from Harry to say, right, either you stick to your word or I'm going to reconsider leaving in January and next summer?
I think it's whoever does his social media and PR just said something that didn't realize that it was going to have an effect on things. I think I don't think it means anything.
To be honest, I think that didn't we hear the same from Kane a couple of years ago that, I want to see the club's moving forward. I want to see, et cetera. Then Maureen came in and it all started going back to shit. I'm not 100% sure there's anything particularly clever about Harry and his brother.
No.
So I'd say I'm not really sure. I think he's I'm not sure if he's been badly advised or if he really does want to go to City. I don't think we'll ever know that. Well, yeah.
Do you think his brother, his lack of intelligence or the fact that he's a gooner? I think we're overlooking the fact that he...
Well, I'm the two linked.
Yeah, true that. Yeah. Can't have one without the other.
Yeah, I could be. No, I reckon. I think it's that Charlie wants to put himself on the map as an agent extraordinaire with one client.
Yeah, he also wants to set himself up for life. Let's be honest. He makes that deal happen, and whatever his commission is enough for him to live comfortably for the rest of his life without doing any other work, which let's be honest, he probably hasn't done any other work anyway. So it's just this is his gig. He does one transfer of his brother and he's set. So.
Yeah. And he wants another skid mark in his
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to discuss the comment on screen before we move on?
The only other thing I would add to it is if he is staying, and let's just say he is, I would have done everything in my power now to make rapid moves in the transfer market to show him, okay, you're staying. We mean business. Here are the players we said we're going to bring in. Don't get me wrong, Romero is a good start. Gil could be. Galini, I think that the way the deal was done has been brilliant. But Tomiyasu shouldn't have taken 58 years to get done. These players that we've been linked with could have been in to say, do you know what? I know now. I understand they've lied to me 100 times before, but this time they actually have put their money where their mouth is. And here we are with 4 days left to go. 2 of them being a weekend, 1 of them being a bank holiday. What deals are going to get done?
Yeah. Speaking of deals, it's gone through this evening, hasn't it? Pape Matar Sarr. Anyone seen much of him? I know he's highly rated, isn't he, by some of the football community? But
yeah.
All confirmed.
Absolutely nothing of him.
It's kind of
it's a bit like the Brian Hill transfer, really. For a couple seasons from now, he's going back on loan, right? Is that still happening?
Yeah, he's gone back. In the Spurs official announcement, they mentioned he's going back on loan.
Yeah. So what do we get out of it? I mean, I think it's good to plan for the future, but there's some signings we need this window that I think we'd all agree. A right back and a right winger or right forward, right-sided forward would be the 2 positions, and obviously another center half if we can get one in. It's just who knows, right? If he turns out to be a phenom and he's brilliant, that's great for a season from now. But we got some stuff we got to deal with this season, and I think I'd rather see that happen first.
Like you said
My
about
biggest
Brian Gill,
concern-
the noises coming out about him are really positive, aren't they? So there's a lot of comments saying, "I can't believe he's going to Tottenham." So he's that thought of.
Yeah, I thought he was.
Yeah.
There was a Real Madrid connection, a Barcelona connection. Like he had that sort of. There was desire from those clubs to sign him. So
that's obviously why we've stepped in now, isn't it, to sort of steal a march on those guys, which is a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest concern about the Sarr transfer is that his initials are PMS.
His what? I missed that. What?
So my only concern is his initials are PMS.
Oh.
He better be bloody good.
Yeah, hopefully he's not a whiny bitch, because that would suck.
Oh dear.
The most
itself, right? It writes
thing
itself.
about Brian Hill, the most impressive thing about Brian Hill is his version of the Macarena.
Right, okay, sorry.
That's a good one. That's good. Right, Kev.
Why
Right,
would you
Kev.
go?
I don't know. The internet just disappeared. The weather's good here. I don't know what disturbed it. It's gone.
You didn't have to go and set some pyrotechnics off. You had to press the button.
Blow some shit up.
No. The weather's good. I can't understand it.
So we've got rid of Sissoko. Has it been confirmed officially?
Confirmed, signed. He's on Watford's page in a Watford shirt.
No way.
Yeah, it's done deal.
Okay, good stuff. Which brings us on to the other clown. Serge Aurier, GC put out an Instagram today saying he'd never join Lille.
Yeah,
he obviously played for
always red
Lens,
and
their
gold.
rivals. We're never going to get rid of this guy, are we? He's just quite happy to sit around. He thinks it's funny, him and
How
Don
much time is left on his contract?
1 year.
1 year? Yeah, okay. So it would only be a year of suffering with him, but it's like another Danny Rose situation to some extent, isn't it?
Danny Rose.
Although Danny at least did something for us for a couple of seasons where he actually performed.
I think we're being harsh on Serge. I do. He does listen. He doesn't hide. It might not be great, but he doesn't go missing in that sense. He doesn't deliberately think. He always tries, and his attitude has always been very good. He's never caused problems. He's not.
He
I don't know if I agree with that. I've seen him pretty slack of not getting
that
back
Leeds
to the
game,
fence.
Res, the Leeds game when he went on pitch, he just walked back and let the other team.
Yeah, like I've seen him do that.
Maybe. All right. I'll
Shit's all over Doherty.
I'll concede that, but I'll concede that there have been times where he switched off. I'll say that. That I'm not a thing, but I don't think it's a deliberate thing with him. I don't think he's the type that will throw a strop in that sense. Bear in mind, remember when his brother was murdered? He
did come out and have one of his best games that day.
And he turned up for training and committed. That's the kind of person he is. He seems like a good egg. He might not be wonderfully good.
So I have to come in on this before Bob Spur probably explodes in the comments. You've got to remember he stormed off against Liverpool. At half time, off you go, goodbye, which in my eyes,
he did do that.
regardless of whatever, is unacceptable. Maybe have a strop and refuse to go in the stand, but to walk out is just not on. And like we said, David Howes once did that with his dad. When a family member dies and you have the what's it called? You have the balls and also the commitment to play for your team. That takes a hell of a lot of respect. So he'll always have that. And there are some games where he's been outstanding, but you weigh up the outstanding games to the games where he's just like the penalty, like you were just saying against Leicester, out of goddamn nowhere. This guy will make up a.
He is better. He is better than Doherty, though. Like there is that commonality. I have to agree with.
Get rid of him. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, transfer him out because we need to upgrade. But first of all, the whole Danny Rose situation itself is subject to dispute as well. So the sort of bad stuff that was going his way is also questionable. He's not Winks. Winks, we know, went to the press, and was shit stirring, for instance. We've had Kane's antics this season. Anything that Aurier's did, that squad was really fragmented under Mourinho. So him walking out against Liverpool, it might have been in his head, well, this is acceptable in the current circumstances with this squad. I'm happy to apologise for Aurier. I'm not happy to apologise for some other players. And I think that he needs to go because we need to do better, but he's he deserves an element of respect for what he's given to the club, I think.
I think it was telling that they had Dean Austin on one of the podcasts. I think it was Last Word on Spurs or something. And he said he was a Watford coach a couple of years ago. And he said their game plan in the game was to target Aurier. He said, we knew that he doesn't trap back, so there'd always be space in behind on that side. And that was like from a coach of another Premier League club. He was like one of their first team coaches, and so other teams actively target him because they know he switches off, he doesn't track back. So he's always going to cost us games. So just merely by not playing Aurier this season, we've looked more solid, and it's no coincidence, is it?
Yeah, he's not really a defender, is he? I mean, he plays right back, but he's not defensive minded. He always wants to get further forward, and when he does, he ends up sort of screwing the team by not tracking back. So
he has that lapse of concentration every game, but luckily he restricts it from between minute 1 to minute 9, doesn't he? It's just one long lapse of concentration.
So he's crap, essentially. We just get him out. He's crap.
So I know, and speaking of people that split opinion, Adama Traore, let's go around the panel, would you have him? Are you pro or anti Traore? Let's start with Rez. Let's go around the clockwise. Rez, Traore.
I don't know. I've seen arguments both sides. His numbers are not very good in terms of assists and goals, but at the same time, he has, every defense will double up on him. So he has the potential to create a huge amount of space for our other attackers. So I'm on the fence. I don't know. Hussam Aouar, not sure how to pronounce his name. Again, apparently his attitude is worse, as we've discussed already tonight. His attitude is worse than Ndombele's. Why the hell would we go near him?
Yeah.
Jens, Adama Traore, pro or against Traore?
Yeah, I'm sitting on the fence with that one. I think, he, as I said earlier, he looks like a locomotive coming towards you at 200 miles an hour, but there's not enough end product. I don't know what his assists are like, but
it's Aaron Lennon on steroids, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's Lucas Moura oiled up and ready to rumble.
We said this on Monday. He got more yellow cards last season than he did goals and assists.
What does he offer more than Lucas Moura? Really, other than his scariness and his size, it's the same type of player in the same position.
I think Lucas Moura is Bruce Banner and Adama Traore is the Hulk.
It's the Hulk. Yeah, it's a good shout. I like that. That's brilliant.
Jens is sitting on the fence. So it's both of you sitting on the fence. Nick, are you getting splinters in your ass as well, or not?
I'm not going to. No. I don't think, in terms of, the money and everything else, I think it could be, if we're going to spend it, we could spend it much, far better than that. So, are you asking these questions on purpose to wind me up? So yeah, I think no, I'm not going to sit on the fence, but like the other two, they obviously like splinters. So yeah, it's a no. It's a no from me. On both, really. I'm not really. Yeah, that we need some experience, and like you're saying about. Oh, you're right there, Rez. Careful, we haven't had any sirens yet tonight, Rez.
Really peaceful.
Past the watershed yet. Brian D, what are you thinking?
I'm going to sum it up very quickly with those two players. No, and the two players I really want that I think would revolutionise the whole squad. So maximum James Ward-Prowse. Get those two in, pay the money. Those two, bang, we're ready to go.
Agreed. Brian Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. As I said earlier, Traore for me is just sort of. We've already got players that have done that or do that the same thing he does do or doesn't do, which is everything right up until he gets into the final third and just gives the ball away or runs into a few players and loses the ball. It's a waste of money. I'd rather spend it wisely. I think Brian's a good shout with the players he chose. I think there's other players we could be looking at that would be appropriate in those positions. It's for £40 million. I mean, yeah, like why that's poor money. We just spent 50 on Romero, who was rated the best in Italy in that position. For 40, you should be getting somebody who's relatively the best in that position in the league they're in to some extent. If you're going to utilize the sort of valuation situation. So yeah, it's a no for me. And the other player who seems to be as much of a problem as Ndombele is, it's absurd. Why are we even considering it? I think what we're looking at here is Paratici, and what he does is he identifies a ton of players and sees which ones he can get or potentially get, and then sees if the value's there and how it's going to affect the squad. I think that's what we're that's what we're looking at, and I think if some of them are just him just dicking around. It's not really worth exploring. The Troyer one has a little bit more legs, it seems, than some of the other ones. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in. I'll support him if he does, but I don't think it's a great transfer.
I love that from Cody Mack, and I've got a funny feeling they're signing someone and they're going to need a bit of money.
I think Donny Van de Beek would be fantastic at Spurs. I was disappointed he didn't come to us, to be honest.
I'd rip your arm off of Donny Van de Beek.
Yeah. The fact he's not playing. You saw that midfield that United played against Southampton. They were awful. It was Fred and Matic, and they just were garbage. And you got Van de Beek sitting on the bench. You're going, what are you guys doing? You got a player in there that can just deal with that situation, can carry the ball forward, transition. It was bizarre. Kevin,
Adama Traore, you having him?
Yeah, you left me at last, and I'm picking up the bones of what everyone else said there. Really, low-end product, sitting on the fence, waste of money. It's not an upgrade on anything we've got. It's what can I say? You've taken all my lines. Sorry, lads.
We'll let you go first next time, pal.
You can go first on this one, Kev. Have we left it too late again, or is the lack of overall business from other clubs showing the lulls and delays in the market the same for everyone after the Euros? Kev, what do you think? Is it just us being shit again, or is it everyone in the same boat?
We always do it, but I think I'm hoping there's stuff in the pipeline. But what I didn't realise, living here in Ireland, you've got a bank holiday there on Monday. I didn't know that because we have a bank holiday at the start of the month, and I didn't know that. So that's narrowed it down even more. I didn't know that, so we're running out of options on the time. It's you've lost 3 days. As somebody was it Nick said it earlier? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's very tight. I'm living in hope, but
I'm not sure the bank holiday is going to matter.
No, I think they'll still do transfers over the holiday. They got phones and the internet and stuff, right? So
the worst thing is about it is they're all on international duty. So rather than being in Europe, they could be anywhere in the goddamn world.
Yeah. So medicals are going to be a problem, aren't they? Medicals are going to be a problem anyway with the COVID regulations they've got to stick to, getting people in and out of Italy and whatnot. So it's ridiculous, isn't it? But everyone else seems to be in the same boat there. It's not just Spurs this year, is it? I mean, everyone else seems to be doing this similar. So, Nick, what do you think? Have we got an excuse? Is it because of the Euros and everyone else is in the same boat, or is it Spurs being Spurs?
Well, I think it's just us being us. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything to sit there and say we could blame it on the Euros. We could blame it on people coming back late. We could blame it on someone saying, "Oh well, we need to see how they've been the first few weeks." But
could we also blame it on the not having a manager for 72 days? Because I think that's probably the thing that set us back the most when it came to bringing in players and identifying them. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah, but I think if we're still, I think that talking about that. But I think if we just take things into perspective, Arsenal are still the biggest spenders of this transfer window.
Yep. And
it's hilarious, guys. It's freaking hilarious.
Look at who they signed.
I just got a picture sent to me from one of the guys, and PSG have got Messi, Donnarumma, Ramos, Ronaldo, and Hakimi for 54 million. Man, you've got Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo for 121. Chelsea, Lukaku, and obviously Man City with Grealish at 100 million. And you just got to laugh. So actually, you kind of don't want to It would almost say be Spurs and go and spend 40 million on Traore and 40 million or 50, 60 million on someone else, and then be like, oh, we want to be the top, but we don't get anything.
I don't believe he doesn't.
We'll spend 60 million on a 12-year-old saying he's the next big thing, and it's all right in about 12 years. We'll
loan him out for 10 years.
Yeah.
Get in there, Daniel Levy. It's his fault now.
Yeah. He's the buffer, isn't he? Jens, have you got anything to add on the point on the screen?
Yeah, I think we always leave it too late. Well, we have done for the last few seasons.
We tried.
Exactly, we tried. Yeah, and we'll just
trying to get Ronaldo.
We'll just put Son as a forward on the official website, and no one will notice. I'm not 100% sure if City, because they haven't got. I don't even know if they were in for Ronaldo. If they might go for Vlahovic or Martinez.
Yeah, there was links to it.
Because they do need a forward, don't they? But yeah, sorry.
So do we.
I digress. Yeah, I digress. But I don't. I'm surprised that we haven't. Well, I know I've got a bit of bias here, but I'm surprised that we haven't looked at Dolberg because you saw a couple of the goals he scored in the Euros. Guy knows where the net is. I wouldn't say he's the most consistent, but as a backup, still only 23 years old. But yeah,
that's a big problem for us getting a striker. And because anyone who's good enough to command a high price,
6 seasons now or some shit like that.
But anyone who's good enough to demand a high price is not going to want to play back up to Kane. They're going to want to be the principal striker, and anyone who can't command that kind of price isn't necessarily going to be good enough. I mean, Vinicius is the best one we've had in the last few seasons in terms of backup, and even we sent him back, because he's just not.
Who Fosh brought in was
But that's because we overplay Kane and undervalue him, and if he's fit, he plays. It should have been used as rotation.
I think he's responsible for that. I think he's the one who demands. We saw it in the Champions League final. He wasn't fit.
Correct.
Mora should have been started.
Yeah,
correct.
Absolutely.
I think it was Kane that engineered or facilitated him being selected with Poch.
People say he doesn't show up in finals, but he actually puts himself in a position where he can't show up in a final because he's not physically fit enough to play. He's 80%.
This is one thing that I'm really hoping was the one thing I would take away as the most valuable thing from the whole Kane debacle this summer is that his wings are clipped a little bit with Spurs, and that the manager and that the management exert more influence on him than the other way around.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Absolutely. And it's positive for the team across the board rather than it just being it's going to revolve around Kane. He's the best player, but there's a little bit more movement for the coach to kind of control things as he sees fit,
So before we move on then, Brian D touched on it briefly with his 2 players. So we'll start with you here, Brian D. You can add a 3rd player to your list of 2 players that you've already chosen. So those 3 in, 3 out before the end of the window. Tomiyasu's your 3rd one.
Tomiyasu, I mean,
it's the position
he's the one I've been really excited about. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I've had to Danny Rose him, but what he's capable of and what he could bring looks really, really exciting. He really, really does. It gives us the flexibility to maybe go at back 3 if we need to. If Tanganga is injured, we can move him there. I still see Tanganga playing in the centre of a back 3, the right of a back 3. So Tomiyasu would definitely be the one in, and I've said out. Jesus, so we've got rid of Sissoko.
Yeah,
Aurier. The top of my list was Dele Alli. It always has been all summer. Do I want to go back on that? Ndombele, get him out.
Yeah,
get him out.
Brian Ireland, 3 in, 3 out.
I'll leave you to it and call the guy we need to.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree with Brian more. I think Tomiyasu is what we need, that right back position, specifically. He plays right back, but also plays the right side of a 2 or a 3 in defense, in the center of defense. We need that position. Like that is the weakest position. Tanganga, who is a center half, who is out of our academy, is currently our best player in that position. And when you've got 2 other players who have been playing in the Premier League for 4 or 5 seasons, in Doherty and Aurier, and they're not good enough, and you've got to play a 20-year-old academy product who's clearly better than both of those, that's a position that needs a lot of work. So Tomiyasu for me is a player that can fill into that position but also be useful for other positions, which that center half position is a massive one. As far as players out, I think Doherty, I watched him last night in the game last night, and he was the worst player on the pitch. Even like the Pacos, like he was just making really poor decisions, really slow. He's a championship player at best at the moment, and it's a shame because he's with his old manager who got the best out of him in Nuno, and you kind of hope that we're going to see that we'll see a Doherty that's kind of getting himself back to where he was a few seasons ago when he was assisting and creating and overlapping and playing really well. But I mean, I'd like to see him Ndombele go too. I just think he's done anyway. Who I think we should definitely get rid of just based on quality is Doherty. Yeah.
Kev, 3 in, 3 out. Any takers?
Harry Winks out. Aurier, Ndombele.
We're supposed to be 3. I missed that. My math isn't good. Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Tommy, whatever he is, Tommy Smarter. Any striker as a backup. and an attacking midfield player. I don't care who, but something.
we need a backup for Kane, don't we? I think
do.
Dane Scarlett didn't really do himself any favours in that first leg last week, did he?
But his fault, though, do you think? I mean, he like the team behind him was crap. He got zero service.
He was isolated. I mean, he that cliche that journalists use. Dane Scarlett cut a lonely figure. It was true. He was just
if you put Dane Scarlett in the team yesterday, guys, do you think he probably would have been involved with it, right? Like just because of how much we were creating, we're getting behind, the lines were broken. I just think he suffered from a poor performance from the rest of the team.
Yeah, Rez, 3 in, 3 out.
Who I'd like to see 3 out. I'd like to see Aurier, Winks, and Ndombele out. That's who I'd like to see out. I think we'll only get rid of Aurier. I don't see anyone else leaving, if I'm being honest.
I think especially with Sissoko leaving, I think Winks has got more of a chance with staying because of that, of that position needing some depth of some kind, right?
In terms of who I'd like to see come in, with the news that Donny van der Beek has handed in a transfer request, we should be going all guns blazing for him.
Get him in,
right? Really? I mean, we wanted him before. Yeah, we wanted him before. He went to Man United.
Is he a bit of like an Ericsson replacement, which is what we've been wanting for so bloody long? I mean, he's not exactly the same player, but similar in his positioning, what he brings to the team, his creativity. I just feel like it's a big miss if we don't bring him in.
Well, it's seriously, anyone who doesn't want to, you see, this shows how batshit crazy OGS can actually be sometimes, right? This player who pretty much any top team in Europe would love to have, he buys him and then puts him on the bench, right? I think he's fantastic. He's fantastic. Shut up. No, Donny van der Beek I'd love to see come in. Tomiyasu as well for the right back berth. And who was there? Was someone else that I was quite excited about, but obviously not that much because I've forgotten who it was. But let's say with the 2 that I would love to see, Donny van der Beek and Tomiyasu, I think there's an outside chance we'll get Tomiyasu and that'll be it.
Okay. Before you do your 3 in and 3 out, can you try and say that player's name on the screen there that Cody's put?
Dave.
Cody always with the difficult.
We're going to call him. We're going to call him Dave.
Kavica
Kvaratskhelia.
Well, it's the last bit of his name looks like Sheila, so we'll call him Sheila.
Kevin. He's got a K and a V in it. Look, call him Kevin. Kevin. Bobby says Aurier and Ndombele and Clark out. Yeah,
Clark's a good shout. He hasn't done anything.
Tomiyasu, Doku, and McKennie. And McKennie. Jens, who are you going for? 3 in, 3 out.
Winksy, definitely. Doherty. And Aurier. I know that leaves us a little bit
thin on that
right
position.
But in would be Tomiyasu.
Kevin Sheila.
Aaron's.
Aaron's. Aaron's. Yeah, he's still at Norwich.
He's in Norwich too, which they're terrible. He needs to get out of there. He's a better player than that team, right?
Yeah. And Andy Carroll.
Big Andy Carroll on a free transfer to back up H. We need a big target man striker, don't we?
That's quality.
Who's constantly injured? Yeah, we need someone to warm the beds in the injury room.
Where is
we need to keep the physios busy.
Yeah, exactly. Because they've got to earn their money. You know, we've got to have an injured player at all times.
And he can be Tangai's new best mate. He's out on the bench.
That's true. They can go to KFC together.
Good hair.
I think it's McDonald's, man.
No, that's good. Ndombele's ringtone is McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut. That's his ringtone.
Other fast spirits up all day.
Are available.
Oh my God, the ties here.
Yeah, Nick. Who's your 3 in and 3 out?
There's no one really to add that you haven't said about in and out. I mean, I guess in terms of being out, I would say Ben Davis. I mean, he was awful last night. You were saying about Doherty being the worst player. I thought Davis was by far the worst player last night.
They both were terrible. It says everything about those positions.
Just I think we were. I mean,
He's not going
I don't
anywhere,
think
mate.
anyone else is going to. We want Winks, but I think unless Paratisi can work some magic and do a swap for Donny van der Beek, that would be insane. But yeah, I don't think anyone else to go out from where everyone else has said.
Can you imagine Winks for fucking Van der Beek? Jesus Christ.
Then I might have to start
You're
calling
calling the
Paratisi Don. If
Yeah, I
that
think
was
that deserves the Don.
then he might earn it.
Right, so every week, guys, we have a quiz. Jens takes on the quiz. This week, as chosen by Kev last week, he chose Aaron Lennon. We chose a random letter. I think it was, I don't know if it's A or L, but this week's quiz is on Aaron Lennon. So Jens, are you ready? We'll throw it open to the panel. If Jens fails us, don't fail us here. Jens, so we need a scorekeeper. He's volunteering. We haven't got Gaza this week, so someone needs to keep score. Yeah, well done, Rez. Always
nice one, Rez. I'll pay you later.
Are you ready, Jens?
I am.
The big Aaron Lennon quiz. Right. Azza joined us from Leeds in June 2005, but who did he make his full debut against on the 27th of August 2005?
Is it Everton?
It wasn't. Anyone want to take it? Any takers out here?
I know when he scored his first goal, but I don't know if it was his debut.
That's question that's coming up, Brian.
Chelsea.
Aston Villa?
Chelsea.
Are we giving you the point, Jens? Or if you got Sue's hiding behind the camera, just Googling it quickly?
Of course, yeah. She's holding up the iPad.
He's not even hiding it. He's just like, I'm going to go search this right now.
Yeah, hold on. I just need to answer this text.
Rez, are we giving him that one?
How's it going in Burnley, mate?
Hey, Siri, what's the answer to this question?
This isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You can't phone a friend.
Phone a friend. Rez, are we giving him the point or not?
No.
No. Question 2. How much was the transfer fee from Leeds?
1 million.
Yeah, we'll give you that. 800,000 rising to 1 million on appearances.
Done them big time there, didn't we?
As Brian touched on here, who did Azza score his first Tottenham goal against?
You know.
I'm pretty sure. 99.9% sure.
Quickly Googling it, Jens.
No.
Show us your hands.
Don't know.
Brian?
I'm pretty damn sure that it was Birmingham City.
It was, yeah.
Wow.
This guy
I'm the king of the We Are Tottenham TV quiz.
Yeah, don't mess him with the quizzes. He knows his stuff. He should be back here next week. He'll probably win it.
Yeah, but he'll win next week. Question 4. Who did Azza join when he left Spurs in February 2015 after 9 years at the club?
Everton.
Correct.
Yeah.
Initially on loan, but permanent deal the following summer. Question 5. How many goals did Azza score for Spurs?
Oh, no, I heard this on
21.
That's very close. That's very close.
24.
Not 21. Any takers? Rez has got
24.
24.
I'm going to go with my lucky number and say
26,
22.
sorry.
22. Nick? Kev,
26.
27.
26.
28. 28. Just count up until we get it
Last
right.
call.
Kev, you could be canny here.
Any advance on 27.
You went the wrong way. 30. 30.
Yeah, I got the closest.
Question 6. According to ancient Tottenham folklore, Azza once actually beat the first man on one of his crosses. Is this true or false?
Definitely false.
Ancient Tottenham folklore.
It's true. I was there. I saw it that time.
That was brilliant.
Cody says Brian is Rain Man.
A bit.
Okay. So this is a good one, actually, if I do say so myself. Question 7. Azza was the third youngest player to reach 300 Spurs appearances. Can you name the 2 players that were younger than him to hit 300?
Can I just ask, is this Premier League era or Spurs history?
Spurs history.
Oh,
Perryman.
Got to be one, yeah.
Perryman.
And Hoddle.
And Hoddle.
Must be, yeah.
Ryan's taking over
It
the
was.
quiz here.
It was, yeah. Perryman and Hoddle.
Dream team.
Dream team, yeah. Question 8, final one. How many full England caps did Hazard earn? And for a bonus point, how many England goals?
How many?
21 caps and 0 goals.
Whoa! Flying, cooking on gas.
Nice one, mate.
21 appearances, 0.
Didn't even have to
0
Google
goals.
that one. You got that one right away.
That's on the print off in front of him, Brian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rez, how many did Rez, how many did you get?
So if you do points for multiple questions, there were 10 points available, and Jens got 2, 4, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Above average.
Who's your
Not
top one then, Jens? Still on.
I told you that I'd pay you later, Rez.
So hold on.
Recount.
My math
He's
is
got 12 out of 10.
12 out of 10.
He who dares, Rodders. He who dares.
Dearie me. So who did you get the most? What was your quiz where you got the most, Jens? Is it still
Thingy bloke?
Wasn't it, Laurie Brown?
Laurie Brown, the great Laurie Brown quiz, first man to travel.
Laurie Brown or Ron Brown? Yeah.
Yes. No, because I actually studied for that one.
Yeah, I actually studied for that one.
Well, I had to. He was born like 15. He played 15 years before I was born. So
before we leave for the night, Tottenham Watford on Sunday. I want the score and match predictions. Let's go around the houses. We'll go clockwise. Rez, what are you thinking? Is Kane going to start?
Yes, I think he will. So Kane and Son up top, I think. Kane up top with Son, Dele, and Lucas behind him. And then I will go with Højbjerg and Skip. And in defence, Reggie, Dyer, Sanchez, and Tanganga, and Lloris in goal. I reckon we'll see Brian Hill make an appearance. Score, we'll win 2-0.
Goal scorers?
Goal scorers, both Kane.
Jens?
Lloris, Reggie, Dyer, Sanchez, Tanganga, Skip, Højbjerg, Bergwijn, Mora.
He's not going to drop Dele, is he?
Sonny.
He's dropping
and
Dele.
Kane up front.
Dele's out. Dele's out.
Yeah, well, that's what I'd like to see. I think, I don't think we ever really scored that many goals at Watford. So I'm going for 1-0.
No, we've done them 4 a couple of times.
3 in a row.
Ginola scoring a couple against them in the 4, and then
that was years ago.
Last
over the last few years, it hasn't been that many, though, has it? I seem to remember beating them 1-0 a few seasons ago.
We beat 4.
We lost
4 as well.
Dele
Alli scored 2, didn't he? We beat him 4 for 4 last time there in the Prem. Dele Alli scored 2.
Was that at home or away?
Home.
Away.
Home.
Harry Kane got 2 and Dele got 2 on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So I'll go. Yeah, in that case, sorry, I thought we were away. I'll go 3-1.
Goal scorers.
Greaves, Perryman, Timothy Tuba.
Nick,
Kane hat trick.
Nick, is Harry Kane starting? And if so, who are you leaving out? Are you leaving out Dele, Bergwijn?
I think actually, based on last night, I think Dele will play, but Mora won't.
He played the full night, didn't he?
Yeah. Mora pretty much played the whole game. And I think it'll be the same team, but I think that Dele Mora will not play based on Thursday. So I think it'll be a typical Spursy performance first half, and then maybe a bit of an injection in the second half with Hill coming on, and I reckon it's going to be 3-0.
Goal scorers.
With Kane is obviously Kane's going to get 1, and I think Sonny might nick 1, and I hope that Steve Bergwijn will score, and that will help him with his confidence. So it'll be spread across those 3.
Get down that bookmaker's pal. Get down that bookmaker's. Just including Stevie alone, that will get your odds bumped up, won't it?
Yeah.
Brian D.
So I'm hoping it's the same lineup we had against Wolverhampton Man City. I think Mora starts. I think what Mora needs is he needs to be continuously playing. When he gets dropped and then starts again, it kind of stops him in his tracks, and he's got stamina to burn. So I want to see the whole team that has won the 2 league games previously. I think none of them have done anything wrong to warrant being dropped. I'm going for 2-0, and I said it earlier this morning. I'm sticking with it. It will help his confidence because there's going to be a bag for Bergwijn. A bag for Bergwijn, a brace for Bergwijn. I'll give him a bag.
I don't even know what he means by bag for Bergwijn.
I'll give him a bag for life if he gets the brace.
You Canadians, you've corrupted him.
Sorry about that, guys.
Braces, bags, yeah. Brian Ireland.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Brian. Other than the exact same team, I'm going to take Bergwijn out, unfortunately, despite he's improved a little bit. His confidence is growing, but I'd start him on the bench and to put Sonny to the left and put Kane up the middle. I'd like to see them stick with a 4-3-3 and see how Kane performs in that and what that means for the sort of the shape and how we're going to play, because he holds the ball up so well, and that's the thing that Sonny hadn't been doing very well in the previous games. So I think it's going to bring in those wingers. Goal scorers, I'm going to and scoreline, I'm going to go 2-0, and I'm going to go 1 for Son, 1 for Kane. They're going to each assist each other like we saw last season, and it's going to be a retro performance from last year.
And the award for most predictable score and scorers goes to.
Hey, you know why it's predictable? Because it's likely.
How does the cliche become a cliche?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's true.
Yeah.
So you
I'm going Lloris. I'm looking down and reading it, so I quickly scribbled it out. Lloris, Dyer, Sanchez, Tanganga, Reguilon, Dele, Mora, Bergwijn, Celso, Kane and Son.
Celso.
Yeah. I haven't heard any injury problems at all. I forgot to look, to be honest with you. There's no hurting from last night as far as I know. But that's what I'm thinking. My score I'm predicting, I'm hoping for a 4-1 win. With Harry Kane scoring 2 and Sonny scoring 2. And I think we're going to him early and take control early.
I hope so.
It'd be nice to see that.
We need one real sort of emphatic win just to get a little bit of confidence in the whole group. Yeah, really smash someone up and make a statement in one game just to get everyone's
great
confidence.
to go to the international break with that as well.
This is what you got to look at as well. Against Man City and against Wolves away, understandably, we defended and had to soak it up. I think this is the one game where Nuno could say, do you know what? Go do what you do. Yeah. Don't let them dictate the play. Go out from the offset. And I think that's going to be it. I think we're going to dictate it right from the off.
Hope so.
Nice to get some early goals, and we can cheer Danny Rose when he comes on off the bench for the last 10-15 minutes.
You think he'll get a standing O or what?
Yeah, I think he might. I
think he'll get some. He'll get some.
He'll get all the anti-Mourinho feeling. Will go on.
I would love to hear both. Both of their songs sung by us tomorrow. The Danny Rose song and the Musa Sissoko one.
I think that'd be class for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think we will.
I won't be surprised if we hear it.
Or the shouts of Hugo when they come on, like we've done with other players in the past.
Yeah,
you'd think Sissoko won't play against us, but you never.
He can't.
He can't.
He was signed after midday, so he
won't be eligible.
I think he'll be there. Let's face it. It's not like he's got far to travel.
He didn't move or anything.
He'll be there. He just won't be able to participate on the pitch. But let's just hope Danny gets the standing ovation he rightly deserves.
Yeah, definitely. I think he will.
Absolutely.
So that brings us to an end tonight. Thanks to the two Brians for coming on.
Thanks for having us, guys. Really appreciate it being here.
Their new channel, Tottenham on Tour. So they've set up a new sort of breakaway channel in the Canadian side of things, obviously to help with the time differences and whatnot for people viewing out there. So Tottenham on Tour now on YouTube. If you'd like to go and subscribe over there, all the guys that watch on our Facebook group and whatnot, go and subscribe to those guys. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, I think most of the people watching have already, but if you haven't, helps us out with the comments and everything. So thanks to Cody, Bob, all the guys that have been commented tonight. It helps with the old algorithms and whatnot. So
cheers, chaps. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for coming on tonight and helping us out. And,
we're up for Friday again this next week, are we?
I don't know. It's the international break, isn't it? So
Wednesday and Thursday. Denmark, Ireland, Scotland, I think is Wednesday.
Yeah.
England Thursday.
Scotland,
England Thursday, are they?
Yeah.
Who are we playing? I don't even look at it.
Yeah, I think they are.
Any idea who England are playing? It's probably not asking the best group of people here, are we?
Who knows? And fuck
it's someone really weak. It's some weak opposition.
Hungary.
There you go.
Yeah,
And they just play like 6 weeks of club football before they. I mean, in 3 games, you're just going, come on, we just got back to it.
Absolute madness.
Just when everyone's getting into the swing of things and have to break and like lose all their momentum, then it's
crazy.
stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. Mad.
So we'll decide what day to do next.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'll let you guys go and enjoy what's remaining of your Friday nights or Friday days. I guess in Brian's case.
Bank holiday weekend. We get 3 days
weekend,
off.
yeah. Reading Festival as well, if anyone wants.
I've already told you, shut it. We don't have no bank holidays over here this weekend.
If we could just add, we're doing the two lines later on.
We got one at the beginning of August as well.
We're doing the two Bryans later at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is probably late for most of the people watching this. But if you were up at 1 a.m. or midnight, I should say, and Bob Spurs is going to be joining us as well. So we're gonna do our regular Friday. So if you're up and you can't sleep, come hop on in the comments. And
I might be.
And if you do, I'll show you what a real rant's like, because there's one rant coming at the beginning.
It always does. It's how we start the show.
So there's a rant coming. Yeah.
Are you going to tease us? What's the rant about tonight, or is it a secret?
Let me have a think. Who can Daniel?
Is it Daniel Beavy?
He's not very creative in who he rants about.
He just makes it so easy. He makes it so easy. So yeah, there will be a little word about our. Parasite of an owner.
Illustrious leader,
yeah. An illustrious leader, that's pushing it, mate. That's pushing it. Parasite.
Sarcasm, I think, in that.
Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars.
Emperor Palpatine. I have seen it. Let's hope we see Tottenham putting Watford to the sword on Sunday.
Yeah.
Come on, you Spurs. Leave you out. Come on, you Spurs. See you all.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Good night, all. Good night, all. See you.
Right.
Cheers, guys.